Jane, I'm so glad you've come down. We were just talking about a distant aunt of yours.
Hello, everyone. How distant of an aunt was she, Aunt Catherine?
Actually, not all that distant. She was the daughter of Edward Darcy and Caroline Villiers. I believe we still have a portrait of them somewhere in the attic.
That sounds intriguing.
More than intriguing. Edward took both Caroline and their daughter, who shares your name, with him on a business trip to New England in 1692. It does seem the Darcy men often make the most unusual decisions.
Where about New England did business take them?
He was going to Boston, and it involved setting up some shipping arrangements.
That seems rather adventurous. Did they get caught up in the Indian uprisings which the French were provoking at the time?
Oh, no, nothing so prosaic. It could have turned out to be a rather uneventful business trip if Edward had not agreed to let his daughter Jane go with her friend Bethia, the granddaughter of Thomas Danforth, to visit the Bradburys in Salem.
Wasn't Danforth the lieutenant governor of the Massachusetts Bay Colony?
He had been for years, but had recently stepped down. A William Phipps had just been appointed governor, and a man named Stoughton was selected as lieutenant governor. Both were colonists, and it turned out to be a very poor choice.
I don't recall the Bradburys.
Thomas Bradbury was a nephew and agent of Sir Ferdinando Horges, the founder of all New England. Of course, the Horges family and his mother's family, the Lygons, had been connected with the Darcys since the 1300s.
This does sound fascinating, but what happened to make the trip so eventful?
Well, this is something that you will find of particular interest, Jane, as the stories surrounding 1692 are only preserved by the families who experienced them.
Why would that be?
Because once the madness of the moment in Salem had passed, there was a concerted effort to destroy all the official documents surrounding what happened.
What caused the madness?
A number of things, but one of the strangest occurred during the summer of 1692. According to Mr. Upham, a lecturer in America, it was believed that evil spirits had been seen by men's bodily eyes in a town neighboring Salem. They glided over the fields, hovered around the houses, appeared, vanished, and reappeared on the outskirts of the woods in the vicinity of Gloucester. Their movements were observed by many of the inhabitants, and the whole population of the Cape was kept in a state of agitation and alarm in consequence of the mysterious phenomena for 3 weeks. The inhabitants retired to their garrison and put themselves in a state of defense against the diabolical besiegers. 60 men were dispatched from Ipswich in military array to reinforce the garrison, and several valiant sallies were made from its walls. Much powder was expended, but no corporeal or incorporeal blood was shed. Additionally, the Reverend John Emerson, the then minister of Gloucester Parish, tells us in his journal that all rational persons will be satisfied that Gloucester was not alarmed last fall for above a fortnight, together by real French and Indians. But the devil and his agents were the cause of all the molestation which at this time befell the town. It was all a quite dreadful time for our settlers in New England. So it was that in the midst of this terror in 1692, that many good people were accused of being witches and in league with the devil.
Did no one try to put a stop to the hysteria?
Many. In fact, most of the people signed petitions seeking to dismiss verdicts and stop the trials. To his credit, Mr. Danforth objected to the trials strenuously and acted to stop them whenever possible.
If the trials were so objected to, who was instigating them?
The trials were principally driven by 2 hateful men, Judge Jonathan Corwin and the Lieutenant Governor Stoughton, who also acted as a judge at the trials. Even family members who came to the defense of a loved one ran the serious risk of also being charged with witchcraft and imprisoned.
Aside from being a witness to this madness, did my Aunt Jane involve herself in any way?
Indeed. There does seem to be something about the Darcy girls, who carry the name of Jane, becoming caught up in the strangest events. Shortly after arriving in Salem, our dear Jane witnessed...
Witch! We have arrived only just in time. Mary Bradbury has already been convicted of a witch and sentenced to be hanged. Today I was present at the trials of 9 more. Where will this end? They have arrested over 150 people now, and the jail is overflowing. But having the jail full has not stopped them. They are now paying people to keep prisoners locked up in their chicken coops and other outbuildings. Mr. Bradbury, Mary's husband, is also staying here at the Ingersoll Ordinary, which is a surprisingly well-run inn. He has his granddaughter Janie True here with him, who is doing an excellent job of looking after him and trying to keep his spirits up. Mary is 75, and her husband is older. So this entire experience has been a terrible strain on both of them. On a brighter note, our trip here took about a day, and Bethia is a wonderful traveling companion. Her brother Samuel drove the cart and was so adept at handling the team that we had no difficulty whatsoever. After spending the night here in the inn, Samuel had to leave before sunrise this morning to pick up some cargo for his grandfather, Mr. Danforth. Samuel is charming, but somewhat mysterious at times. He seems to be often deeply concerned about something. It looks like we will have a long day tomorrow, and I have some ideas of my own which I would like to investigate. As it is late, I will try to get a good night's sleep so that I have all my wits about me for the day ahead. What's that? I'm not sure what I just saw, but it is odd. That makes me feel safer. But from what, I'm not sure. The window was banging and the curtains were fluttering, and yet, looking out the window, I don't see any sign of a storm at all. So what did cause the window to slam shut? A typical New England day. Dull, grey, and overcast. I'll head downstairs as soon as I get dressed. I'm glad I listened to Bethia and brought fashions which match the customs of the Puritans here in Salem. The latest styles from England would certainly stand out here. I'd best not choose this one, as wearing black is one of the reasons they have used for accusing someone of being a witch. Perfect choice for a day like today. Perfect, ready for the day. Ew, that doesn't go with today at all. Perfect choice for a day like today. Bethia, you are certainly a bright spot on a cloudy day.
Thank you so much. Isn't the weather dreary?
Without a doubt.
Miss Janie True is downstairs, and I was thinking we should go down and visit with her. She probably could use someone to talk to.
An excellent idea.
I'm going to stop by my room for just a moment, and then I will join you.
You don't have to rush. I'll go down now. Hello, Miss True. How are you this morning?
As well as can be expected. I didn't sleep much last night.
That's certainly understandable. How is your grandfather holding up?
He is working with several other men to collect petitions on behalf of my grandmother as to her character and position in the community.
That is a very positive step.
Oh, I'm afraid it may not be enough. Others have collected similar petitions and yet were still executed. I understand that they have set the date of execution for 4 days from now.
With so many people against this, how can it be happening?
There are 2 wicked judges, Corwin and Stoughton, who are causing all of the problems. The judges call innocent people evil witches, but it is the judges who are actually evil. In fact, the judges are the ones who are taken with madness and now appear to revel in the executions. If there are any contracts with the devil, you will find the judges' names upon them.
From what little I know and have heard since arriving in the New World, I cannot argue with your conclusion. My family is staying with Mr. Danforth in Boston, and he also shares your opinion.
It is the new charter brought back from England that has permitted the creation of the Court of Oyer and Termina, which has called for the executions.
This is also strange, as I am certain that executions for being a witch have been outlawed, at least in England.
Exactly, and yet my grandmother will be executed in just 4 days. It is madness.
Where is your grandmother held?
She is held in a private jail, which only adds insult to our case, as the jail is a barred room in Judge Corwin's carriage house, which means he will be able to reimburse himself handily from the public purse for the time she is held there. Disgusting man.
Which house is Judge Corwin's?
It is the first house on the left as you enter Salem town, but no one is allowed to visit any of the prisoners.
I wasn't exactly thinking about asking permission to visit, but I did have some other ideas.
It seems at this point we would need a miracle.
Sometimes 'tis difficult to know exactly what is needed, but finding that can make all the difference. Oh, here's Bethia.
It looks like you two have been getting on quite well this morning. I'm so pleased to see that you are holding up so well, Janie. Fairly well, but with everything happening so fast, it's hard to believe 'tis all real.
Yesterday I heard that Rebecca Preston is taken ill.
I heard the same thing. She's also still suffering from having just lost her dear mother, Rebecca Nurse, to the wicked actions of Stoughton.
And with her unwell, she has been unable to make candles her family depends on to trade for essentials like flax and fish. So, I was thinking it could be an act of charity if we were to go over and make the candles for her today.
What a good idea. If we go now, we should have plenty of time. I wish I could go with you, but I need to wait here for my grandfather to return.
Don't give it a thought. We will fill you in on all the details when we return.
I've known Rebecca for some time, so we can just go in without bothering her, in case she is asleep.
Well, then that's decided. All that's left is to get to work.
I think Rebecca has commitments for 30 candles and 5 friendship candles. If I remember correctly, she keeps the candle-making supplies in the box to the right of the fireplace.
Perfect.
If you would like to go ahead and start, I will go and look in on Rebecca and see if she needs anything.
I do hope she's feeling better. Well, we're off to a good start. This pot is filled with water and it's already hot. That should work. Good. I love the smell of beeswax melting. That should add just the right amount of fragrance. That's not right. That's not right. It looks like the wax has melted enough. I'll dip the end of the wick and then it should stick to the pebble. All set. Now to cool them. Ready for another dip. 5 more to go. Twice more. Once more. 'Tis done. Now to cut off the pebbles. Now to place the candles on the drying stick. Now to start on the next batch. That didn't take as long as I thought it might. All finished.
It looks like you are already done. That was quick.
Yes, everything went very smoothly. Rebecca has her candle making very well organized.
Most of these candles go to places nearby, but one set goes to that hateful Jonathan Corwin. I dread taking those.
If you can deliver the ones nearby, I would be glad to bring the ones to Corwin's.
Oh, that would be great. My brother Samuel has a couple of horses stabled at the ordinary. The black one with the white blaze is named Runner, and you can take him. There is tack next to his stall for the cart you can use.
Nothing could be better. I feel like a ride and would like to take a look at Corwin's place anyway.
Done. You take care of Corwin, and I will take care of the rest of the deliveries, and we'll straighten up everything here.
Then I will meet you back at the ordinary. Take care.
You too.
The harness is probably in the check room.